What's up, y'all? Welcome back to 62 Beer Reviews. Today we're checking out another beer from Goose Island out of Chicago, Illinois. This is their 2025 Bourbon County Chocolate Praline Stout. Excited to check out this variant today. We reviewed the base and the double barrel from this year. And this is another one that really stood out to me. So we're going to dive on in. Chocolate Praline Stout comes in at, gosh, that is really hard to read. 14.8%, I think is what that says. No, excuse me, 14.6. Bottled on August 13th, 2025. So time recording, we are probably 6 or 7 months old, somewhere around there. So still plenty fresh. This is one of those I wanted to try to review relatively fresh. It is an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with cocoa nibs, hazelnuts, cashews, dates, almonds, and natural flavors. Product of the Goose Island Barrel House, Chicago, Illinois. I like the little bit of, obviously it's, for the most part, it is straight on Bourbon County bottle, but the little different colorway here, a little darker brown, beige color to it. I really like that colorway here. Pralines. I'm a huge praline fan. Being in the South here, it's a big thing down here. So this one sounds very interesting. So far, I really enjoyed the base from this year. Didn't have anything last year. Really enjoyed the base. The double barrel I really enjoyed. I just, for the price, a little too high for me, but I did enjoy it. So I'm excited to check this one out. So we're gonna crack it open, even though it is 70 degrees out right now. We're still going all in with the stouts. So let's check it out. I've tried to veer away from some reviews of this one just to give my own thoughts before diving in there. Bottle also, shout out to my parents for picking this one up for me. They recently visited, coming down from Ohio, stopped in Louisville at Total Wine and saw a bunch of these on the shelf and knew it was relatively hard for me. I shouldn't say hard, but the price point down here was just absolutely bonkers for Bourbon County. So they picked this up for me. So shout out to them. Yeah, super excited. Super excited to check this one out. So it poured, it had a head there, but dissipated rather quickly. About a quarter finger left after we rolled it up there. Poured that like cola color, kind of looked like the other ones. Maybe not quite as like dark as the double barrel, but looks like Bourbon County. It is that dark, rich, dark brown, nearing black color. Looks nice. Check out the aroma. I'm really excited. I don't think I've ever had like a chocolate forward Bourbon County. So let's dive in. Ooh, man, that's got a ton of barrel character. Ton of barrel character. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting just the name and the adjuncts in here. I was expecting this to be a little sweeter on the aroma. It's really not. It is very barrel oak forward. I do get some kind of like generic nuttiness coming through. I don't know if I would like per se exactly say cashews or hazelnuts. If anything, maybe hazelnut forward, just because that kind of stands out aroma wise more than like cashews. I don't really think of like aroma when it comes to cashews. A little, the date I do think really comes through. Get that like dark fruit, which I think mixes well with Bourbon County. A little caramel. I was expecting this to be a little bit more fudgy. It's not really too fudgy. With the cocoa nibs in here, I was expecting a ton of chocolate. And like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some chocolate in here, but not like a crazy, crazy amount. Put this up here. What am I doing? What am I doing? Got to be proper here with these reviews, y'all. There we go. Maybe the nuttiness is kind of balancing out that chocolate and the sweetness coming through. I do get some vanilla. There's a ton of oak. I'd say aroma-wise, out of all three I've had so far, probably my least favorite aroma, but it still smells very good. So let's just dive in, see how it tastes. Cheers. Hmm. Go back in. Okay. Nuttiness comes through. One of the more like nutty stouts that I've had in a while. So definitely get that. So they're getting that like praline portion of it because I do get some like caramel, brown sugar, that like a light brown sugar. Yeah, there is a decent amount of nuttiness here. Get that oak. I think the bourbon pairs well with that nuttiness. Kind of reminds me of like, listen, I don't drink bourbon too often, but I used to drink a lot of like Jim Beam. I did a whole distillery tour with a bunch of friends for my bachelor trip. A lot of their bourbons are very nutty forward, like Booker's, for instance. I get a lot of that here, which I think, I could be totally wrong. The Four Roses, Wild Turkey, and Buffalo Trace is what I think the typical barrels are for these. I could be wrong. Um, but I get a lot of like Jim Beam nuttiness here. And obviously, maybe it's just coming from the adjuncts and just giving that vibe of Jim Beam products. Um, I do kind of feel like it's one dimensional. Just not like too much going on. Like I like the flavors that I'm getting up front, but it doesn't stick around. A little bit of chocolate, almost like a semi-sweet chocolate, nearing more like a milk chocolate. Personally, I'm a big dark chocolate fan, so I like getting more of that. So it does kind of near that sweetness, but I think the nuttiness kind of cuts that out. It is very one dimensional though. I like the taste up front, but there is, like I said, not a whole lot on the finish there. 14.6%. I don't taste any booze whatsoever. So yeah, very dangerous beer. I'll just say that. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's one of those things you just need to let it open up. I have had this just sitting on the shelf, basically down here, which usually, like I said, it's kind of warmed up here, so it's probably like 64 degrees down here. Threw it in the fridge for about half an hour, so you're probably looking right at cellar temp, maybe a little bit above that. So yeah, it might just be one of those things I need to let it open up. Like I said, typically most beer reviews I say go check out my Untapped. So most of the time I put on there if anything changes after the review, I'll put it on there in the description. So um, I don't know. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit let down by this one. Probably, gosh, I don't want to say it yet. Go back in. I think, yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I was thinking. Price out of it, I think the three that I've had so far, I would go. Do I want to say price? It's so hard. I do think I really, really enjoyed the base this year. So I'd probably go base, double barrel, this being the last one out of the three that I've had so far. I have seen a few more of these around in town. Maybe I'll pick up another one. I don't know. $24.99 is what I think they paid for this. I do think it's just a little steep. It really is. I don't know for what you can get for the base. The base. I mean, I think I paid $20 for a 4-pack. Obviously, the smaller bottles, but that's hard to beat, man. When the base is so good, and honestly, I think it's better than this. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I enjoy this, but it's not blowing me away like I was really hoping it was. And like I said, I heard good things about this. Maybe it's just not my jam. I don't know. Body's a little bit thin. Hides the ABV well, although as someone who drinks whiskey and whiskey cocktails every now and then, your mileage may vary. Because there is a good amount of oak and bourbon in this. So it might taste boozy to others. Very good, but not great. We'll leave it with that. Yeah, if anybody's had chocolate praline stout, let me know down in the comments. Almonds. That's another, I mean, gosh, there's so many hazelnuts, cashews, and almonds. Yeah, of course. There's a lot of nuttiness in this beer, and I do dig that. I like the dates in here. I wish I got a little bit more fudgy chocolate. Yeah, so if anybody's had chocolate praline stout from Bourbon County, let me know down in the comments. I would be very curious to see what y'all think and see what this compares to the other variants for y'all. So rating wise, I think I'm gonna go 4.1 for the style. That's the best I can do. 4.1. So again, let me know if you guys have had this year's chocolate praline stout. Fun variant to check out nonetheless. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.